off, see where we're going. I'm following my friend. Well, here we are in Alabama Hills, outside of Lone Pine. Never been here before. My friend's been here several times. So I followed him and we came up here to camp. We found this place. So we left his rig here and jumped in mine and went exploring all these nooks and crannies around here. Of course, people that know this area very well have all those places up in the rocks already taken for probably long-term camping. But on our little ventures, we thought we found one nice place, and I got up and around and we decided it was not that good. When I backed up, I went off the hillside and got rested on the rear body. The wheels were just like in the soft sand, and I thought I was, I thought that was it for me. But Pike, my friend, saw a guy in a huge built-out four-wheel drive expedition camper truck coming up and flagged him down, and that guy had everything he needed to pull us out of that hole. Otherwise we'd be there until, I don't know, until the cows came home. So thank goodness for that. I've taken this little 2008 WWII Ascent 2500 diesel Dodge Sprinter places I didn't think I could, and luckily I've gotten out of them. The girls are happy. I turned around here, the wind's coming out of the north, and I didn't want it blowing into the sliding door, so I maneuvered myself, so at least this side's okay. How you girls doing? Quite an adventure, huh? Yeah, the bumpy roads up here, things were popping and jumping inside. The microwave oven door popped open. The glass tray fell out onto the floor. My 2 loaves of China date bread fell down, and they devoured half of one. And luckily the other one went underneath the bed, so they couldn't get to it. So I'm going to salvage what I can out of the one they've half eaten, and just learn how to better secure things in the rig for the places I go to, which are not always paved highways.
Here is the view from our first choice of campsites because of the view of the mountain range. The mountains are so majestic, with serrated peaks protruding into the heavens. This spot also proved to be very windy due to the wind funneling through the gully and up the bluff below us, so we went looking for a better area protected from the strong winds. Here you can see my buddy's pop-up trailer and my little RV with Sarah running around out in front. Even these rocks didn't protect us from the wind. It was just coming at us from every direction. These rocks look like some child with cans of Play-Doh made them all. The rounded, smooth, interesting forms seemingly just pushed together or dug out by the wind and rain, forming the landscape around us. It was easy to see why so many movies, westerns, science fiction, and the other, have been filmed in these hills. There are some spectacular photo ops here for any photographer. Later in the day, we drove up an access road towards Mount Whitney for these views of the mountains above us and the valley below. On our way back to camp, the parking lot for the little arch trail had only a few cars, so we stopped to check that out. My friend knew which way to go on the trail to get there quickly, and of course I had to get my own photo taken inside the arch to show how small it was. Hey, here I am, in the arms of the arch, waving high. With the majestic mountains behind me, what a frame. The arch on the other side looks totally different as I paused to take a photo of it. Its backside was in sharp contrast to its smooth, molded look on the other side. By now we had retreated to the shelter of the rocks against the wind. Luckily, another camper had left his spot, and I zoomed in to claim it for the night. My friend then moved his trailer also. In the campsite on the other side of the rocks were rock climbers that were going up and down the faces of the rocks behind us. They were even climbing them in the night with their headlamps on. Pretty daring. Well, with the move into the rocks, we lost our great mountain range view, but we got out of the wind enough to have a nice, enjoyable evening campfire while watching the rock climbers during the evening. But now it was time to hit the sack ourselves.
Well, here we are, a typical night in the rig, getting ready to bed down for the night. It's going to be a cold one. Got the heat on because they're predicting a low of 32 possibly tonight up here in the mountains of Lone Pine in Alabama Hills. So it's always best to be warm. So we've had our little campfire, we've had our little snack, and we are ready to hit the sack, huh, girls? Kate, you ready to hit the sack? Sarah, you ready to hit the sack? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll check in with you guys later.
The next morning, the winds had died down, and the morning was crisp and sunny. We both were beginning to feel home tugging on us, so we decided to head north towards home. We came across Manzanar, one of the World War II Japanese internment camps just off the main highway in the valley. They have an educational auto tour nicely set up where you can drive through part of the enormous area with markers showing such locations as the many blocks of internment barracks, their Buddhist temple, community produce gardens, hospital, sports field, and other facilities. The drawings and paintings of the camp, when it was in use, remind me of Stalag 17 in the movies. They have erected a monument in front of the mountains they gazed at for years, and those Japanese once interned there and others still have pilgrimages to the site. The monument gave me the sense of a German concentration camp monument stating, "Never again." There were a few grave sites and much change left on the monument, each coin meaning something different. The park ranger went out after we walked back to our cars to check if we had stolen any of the coins left on the monument. What a sad comment on modern society today, that they would have to do that to protect a sacred monument site. After that, we continued into Lee Vining to see what had become of Mono Lake. They had built a brand new visitor center, which of course was closed. The huge white tufas are created by the unique chemistry of the lake, which forms these otherworldly white formations coming out of the water like ghostly gnarled fingers, seemingly reaching out to grab intruders. But just like ghosts that have their weakness, so does Mono Lake, totally dependent upon its lake chemistry and the water level to create its ghostly forms. With the continuous lowering of the lake's water levels over the decades that I have seen, the lake is dying, and a natural wonder is disappearing. It's truly only a ghost of itself from what I remember it in the 60s. Leaving Mono Lake, we continued north, not knowing where we would stay. Calling ahead, we found a quaint, older RV park for only $21 a night with showers, and a small grocery near Honey Lake that I imagined to be from the 60s or 70s when I saw it. Still, it was a nice place to pull in for the night. The next morning, after making a few calls to Harvest Host and finding no openings, we both decided to just head home, so I packed up the girls and made the long 12-hour drive home on the freeways.
That's Kate, just peering out the window as we drive down the highway. Oh, did I mention your name? I'm sorry. I know you were watching for antelope and critters out there, weren't you? I'm sorry I disturbed you from your watch. Sometimes she'll have her nozzle slipped into the door handle gap there, and then just kind of rests her head, keeps it stable, and she'll snooze like that going down the highway for hours. Okay, Sarah is down here. There Sarah is. She's finally gotten tired of standing. And she's actually laying down now. So, anyway, on the road. Oh, you came up to say hi, Sarah? What's up, girl? Oh, you silly. You're so silly. Are you gonna lay down there now next to me? Okay. Alright. And Kate's still looking out the window, looking for antelope, deer, bison, whatever she sees. So, back, paying attention.